Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. Today we're going to be doing a discussion about PlayStation's lineup. We're looking at the remainder of 2023. What PS5 games does Sony have coming out between now and the end of the year? But also, what PlayStation games are confirmed officially for 2024? Now, I want to mention this because there is something here that kind of stuck out to me, and it's a little bit strange, and I want to highlight that to you guys, and again, just kind of have a discussion about it, and I'm certainly going to be interested to see what you guys have to say in the comments down below, so be sure to leave your thoughts when we finish up here. So, looking first at the remainder of 2023, not too much to say here. I think everybody kind of has a good idea of what Sony is set to release between now and the end of the year. That's Helldivers 2 and Spider-Man 2, with Spider-Man 2 obviously being the juggernaut title, the one that's going to make waves, the one that's going to very easily carry PlayStation for the remainder of this year and even going into early 2024. And then there's also Helldivers 2. Unfortunately, it seems like it may get overshadowed a little bit, which I guess is understandable when you consider how different it is compared to something like Spider-Man 2, but it still looks promising, it still looks good. I'm personally excited for it. It's worth noting we still don't have an official release date for Helldivers 2, but it is coming this year. The current rumor is it's going to launch in October, so we could very well see a scenario where both Helldivers 2 and Spider-Man 2 launch in October, but that's pretty much it, and that's coming right off of Final Fantasy 16, so the second half of 2023, I would say, is pretty good for PlayStation, generally speaking. FF16, Helldivers 2, Spider-Man 2 to close out the year, and a bunch of third-party multi-plat titles in between those. I think, generally speaking, PS5 owners are going to be pretty happy. But where things get interesting is when we look at 2024. So there are, right now, as far as I can tell, 4 PlayStation titles officially confirmed for 2024, with only one of those 4 titles being an official PlayStation Studios title. And I want you to pay attention to that. So the 4 games are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is going to be huge. It's crazy to think we could be playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth not too long after Spider-Man 2. It is currently scheduled to release in early 2024, so it could be January, February, March, or even April. And then on top of that, we have Rise of the Ronin. This is Team Ninja working with Sony's XDev. And this is another game that looks like it has a ton of potential. It looks promising, and people really like what they saw in the initial reveal trailer. But, you know, we haven't really seen much else of it. It is confirmed for 2024 officially, and it's rumored to actually also launch in early 2024. So we could end up seeing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Rise of the Ronin launching within the first 3 to 4 months of next year, which would be pretty awesome to see. But outside of that, we have Lost Soul Aside and Concord. Now, Lost Soul Aside is another partner game. It's a Chinese developed game, and there's been a fair amount of excitement for it, and that is still officially scheduled to launch this year. We don't have an official date yet, though. And then Concord is the only first-party PlayStation Studio title that we know about with a release year attached to it beyond 2023. Now, I really want to highlight Concord here because it really highlights something strange and also kind of abnormal, I would say, for PlayStation, but also potentially something very exciting. So, for those who don't know, Concord was officially revealed at the PlayStation Showcase in May of this year. We got like a 30-second CG trailer that tells us literally nothing about the game. I don't really know what they were thinking with this trailer, but it is a first-person shooter. I feel like a lot of people watched this trailer and did not know that. I can't blame them. How could you know? But it is a first-person shooter. It's a AAA title. It's made by Firewalk, a studio that hasn't made a game before, but has been working on this game for like 5+ years, and Sony really liked what they saw. In fact, they liked it so much they decided to actually scoop the studio up and acquire them. And so, yeah, people have been begging Sony to do a first-person shooter for years now, and it'll be very interesting to see how this game turns out, what it ends up playing like, but we still have to wait to see what it actually looks like. And so, yeah, that's it. We have one game beyond Spider-Man 2 that is scheduled to release for 2024 that's coming from Sony Studios. And the reason why I said this is abnormal is because we are getting closer to the end of this year. We still have some time left, but we virtually have no roadmap for PlayStation Studios, for PlayStation's first party. And I feel like in years past, we've had a much better idea of what was coming, down the road when it comes to PlayStation Studios. Of course, there are games like Wolverine that we could bring up here, but the reason why I don't feel comfortable really counting that in this conversation is because we have no idea when Wolverine is set to release. I think people who are feeling optimistic will say it could come out in 2024, and it certainly could, but I think most people, or at least a lot of people from what I've seen, are thinking that's going to be a 2025 game at the earliest. And when we, put Wolverine to the side, we, put Spider-Man 2 to the side, again, it's just basically Concord. We saw Fair Games, another live service multiplayer game revealed by a PlayStation studio at the showcase. It's Haven Studio, once again, another unproven studio where we have no idea what this game's going to be like. We don't know, what the quality of this game's going to be. We just know that Sony liked it enough to acquire the studio. No release year. We have no idea when Fair Games is set to release. And yeah, as you can see, we don't know anything about PlayStation Studios. We have gotten almost no updates. The last update we did get, again, was at the showcase, but that's why a lot of people walked away from that PlayStation showcase feeling like that was not a good show on PlayStation's part, because people tune into the PlayStation showcases expecting, the big hitter titles, like new single player titles, like where are all these studios? What have they been working on? Let's see these reveals. And instead, we got 10 minutes of Spider-Man 2 gameplay, which looked amazing. And that definitely, I don't know if it saved the showcase, but that showcase would have been significantly worse without that gameplay there. But the 3 new first-party trailers we got were from, either unknown studios or they were CG trailers, and they're all multiplayer games. That's not what PlayStation fans tune into the showcase for. And the fact that only one of those titles had a release year attached to it, again, doesn't really instill much confidence, especially when you see no gameplay. So I guess the reason why I'm discussing all of this and I'm highlighting all of this and making everybody aware of this, the reason why I said this could potentially be exciting is because it makes you realize that the chances of Sony doing another proper showcase before the end of this year are not zero. Now, that's not to say that the chances are high. In fact, I'm going to explain to you why those chances may not be high, but that there is still a chance nonetheless. The fact that there is no roadmap, that there's only one single PlayStation Studio title with a release year attached to it, and the fact that many of these studios have been working on projects pretty much since the launch of the PS5, it again gives you this idea that the chance isn't zero. It is certainly possible Sony could be planning another full-blown showcase before the end of this year to lay out that roadmap and kind of give PlayStation fans what they hoped they were going to get, or what they thought they were going to get during that May showcase, but never did. However, I'm going to now let you guys know why there's a pretty decent chance, maybe even a good chance, that Sony won't do another showcase this year, and it's pretty much this. I told you guys about the remainder of 2023. Spider-Man 2 is such a big title for Sony that they don't have to do anything when it comes to reveals or announcements. The only thing Sony really has to do, at bare minimum, is just let Spider-Man 2 do the talking, let it do the heavy lifting, because it absolutely will. Spider-Man 2 could and I have to emphasize, very easily carry PlayStation and the PS5 throughout the remainder of 2023 single-handedly, and even into early 2024. It wouldn't even need something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Rise of the Ronin to do that, but it's seemingly going to get that anyway. So when you take this into account, we got Spider-Man 2 coming at the end of this year, FF7 Remake, another major heavy hitter coming early next year, and then Rise of Ronin. Sprinkle that on the top. I mean, that could very easily lead us to April, May, even June of next year. And let me ask you, if Sony was going to do another showcase, what do you think the most likely time frame of them doing that showcase is? This year in August, September, or something like that, or next year in May again, or in June? Well, I think most people, including myself, are going to say I think all signs point to the next showcase, the most likely time frame is May or June of next year. And so I guess I just am trying to let you guys know that even though there is still a chance we could get that roadmap this year, it seems more likely to me that that roadmap is going to come sometime next year. But the great news here, and this is where I don't want people to misinterpret this discussion as something negative, because it's actually not. The only reason Sony is going to be able to push this roadmap, in the reveal of this roadmap into next year, is because they have games set to release in between that time. Again, within basically the next 7 to 8, 9 months, give or take, we are basically looking at Helldivers 2, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Rise of the Ronin. And who knows, maybe there could be a little something else in between those. And to me, that looks like a lot of great games that I want to play, and certainly a good output given the time frame that they're releasing in. So there you go. That's what I wanted to discuss with you guys, and so I want to leave it to you. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Sony's lineup for the remainder of 2023. Let me know what you think about the games that are officially confirmed for Sony in 2024, and let me know your thoughts on whether or not you think we're going to get another showcase this year. I'll be interested to see what you have to say. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.